888-727 Beck 888-727 BECK. Chris McDaniel coming up any minute now. The Mississippi runoff is tomorrow. Big. This is huge. We're not Thad Cochran fans.
Well, I mean, if you love animals, you probably don't love the Thad Cochran campaign because that seems to be one of his main things he talks about is the unspeakable things he does to animals. It wasn't unspeakable. Indecent. Well, it was indecent. I should be fair here. The indecent things he does to animals.
You can speak about it. I mean,
yeah, it's just indecent.
He did speak about it.
That's true.
It's simply indecent. Mm-hmm. Now, for anyone who doesn't believe us that Thad did indecent things with animals, it's fairly provable.
But all at the same time, trying to get back as often as we could, because it was fun. It was an adventure. Yeah. To be out there in the country and to see what goes on, picking up pecans from that to all kinds of indecent things from animals. So I know some of you know what that is.
So
no one laughs the second time.
Some of you know what that is.
Yeah, of course.
And then they're confused. First they laugh thinking it's a joke, and then they realize the guy is serious about doing indecent things with animals, and now he thinks that we're with him on doing indecent things with animals, and frankly, I'm not. So it's a really uncomfortable moment. Finally, somebody asked him about it, and because the press jumped in and said, "Oh, he's probably talking about cow tipping. I bet that's what it is. He pushed cows over in their sleep." And no, he didn't even take that bait. Here's what he said.
Maybe I was misunderstood. I don't remember saying that.
Maybe I was misunderstood. I don't remember saying that.
Well, but you did say it, and I think you have to take responsibility for the words that came out of your mouth last week, right?
Not in this environment.
Maybe not. I think the voters of Mississippi are sort of, and it's not about the indecent things he did to animals, but I think they're going to hold him responsible here tomorrow. The polls show a lead for Chris McDaniel. One poll has him at 12 points up. Another one has him at 8 points up. One poll does have it with Thad Cochran up by 1. So, who knows at this point? We'll find out tomorrow. But you see by just the desperation of the activity from the campaign of Thad Cochran, he's reaching out to try to get Democrats to vote. He's trying to now this bizarre claim about this Facebook post by his daughter. And if you
listen to her horrible accusation. If you missed it a few minutes ago, I mean, it's worth pointing out again because here's what's being leveled. Here's the charge.
You're going to say it on air again?
Yeah, we're gonna. So if you've got small children,
stations,
warning to stations if you have children listening. This could be very offensive to them, knowing what Chris McDaniel believes in.
Chris McDaniel, quote,
now, again, allegedly.
Allegedly. We have to ask him about this. If this is true, I'm going to be very disappointed. Mm-hmm. Quote, he relies solely on Jesus, the Constitution, and common sense.
And we're still going to talk to him?
I guess so. We have to now to find out if this is true.
If substantiated, those are some of the most base, awful, horrific claims ever to be leveled at Jesus, right?
Yeah. The Constitution of the United States, supposedly, which is even worse.
And get this, if those two things aren't dumb enough, common sense. What kind of buffoon? Although wasn't anywhere in there.
No.
And
neither was the Soviet Constitution.
Neither was the Soviet Constitution. Oh man. No. So anyway, Chris is supposed to be on with us. He hasn't called in yet, but hopefully soon. Hopefully.
Well, so why don't we take a quick break?
All right.
Holy cow. We have Chris McDaniel on the phone now. He's running for the U.S. Senate in Mississippi. The runoff against Thad Cochran is tomorrow. And, I think I need to start, Chris, with this. What have you done with animals? And are they as unspeakable as what Thad Cochran apparently has done?
Not unspeakable, just indecent.
Oh, indecent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is this something that Mississippians understand that the rest of us don't? Are you guys doing something indecent with animals that the rest of us don't know?
Not at all. Not at all. I have no idea what Senator Cochran was talking about, and I'm not sure he did either. But no, that's not something that happens here.
Well, apparently he does with him, but not with you, and we're glad to know that. Well, I thought that was the place to go, honestly, because I really didn't know, and none of us on the show know what you guys do in Mississippi, or at least what Thad does. Let me start with here. Thad Cochran's daughter, self-proclaimed liberal, she has been online supporting her father with Facebook posts. She said, and this is supposedly a dig at you, she said, you're the type of person that relies on Jesus, the Constitution, and common sense to make your decisions.
Sure.
May I ask again? I know about the animal thing. I didn't know about that. Or do Mississippians not rely on Jesus, the Constitution, and common sense? Do they see that as a bad thing, or?
Well, apparently only if your last name is Cochran, based on her comments. That was the most unusual thing I'd ever read. Absolutely, Jesus. Absolutely, the Constitution. Absolutely, common sense. It's precisely what Washington, D.C. has been lacking for so long, and it's exactly why we need more of it up there.
What is your feeling going into tomorrow?
We feel great. We feel great. We've got momentum. The ground troops are fired up. The people of this state understand that a change has to take place to Washington, D.C. The city is broken. It's corrupt. We're tired of the backroom deals and the favoritism and the cronyism. And they understand the only way to change all of that is to send someone new to Washington. That's why we won 3 weeks ago. That's why we're going to win tomorrow. And we're very excited about it. We're seeing incredible support across the state. And Senator Cochran now, of course, now knowing that he can't get conservative votes, he's begun to reach out and try to get liberal Democrats to cross over into the primary and to steal the vote away from us. And it goes to show just how liberal Senator Cochran has become over the years, and he's absolutely desperate at this point.
It's also been amazing to us, Chris, to see how out of touch, I mean, at least out of touch, Thad Cochran is. First of all, he claims that he doesn't remember saying that he did indecent things with animals, and that was just like a week before that. And then he was asked about the race with Eric Cantor, and he had no idea what they were talking about. He didn't know what had happened. He didn't even sound like he knew who Eric Cantor was. I mean, this is a guy who's been in Washington for decades, and you don't have any clue as to what's going on there? I mean, at least out of touch. I would think that Mississippians would decide it's time for him to go home.
Yeah, I think so, too. And likewise, Glenn, he had no idea who the Tea Party was, which is fascinating considering it's been a dominant political force on the scene for many years. And he had no idea. So
wait, I don't think I know. Wait, hold it just a second. I don't think I know that one. Where was that story? I don't remember hearing about the Tea Party.
It was earlier on, probably, I'm guessing 2 or 3 months ago. A reporter asked him specifically about it, and he had no idea what the reporter was talking about. And he made the mistake a second time later on, still being very confused about what the Tea Party was, what its mission was, and who it was. So he's been very, very confused. The press has not been giving him any interviews, obviously. He will not answer questions around people. We've asked him to debate a dozen times. He will not debate us. He will not even speak with us. And he won't speak with the people. He won't hold town halls. And I believe it's because he can't defend his liberal record, and he has no vision for the future. But likewise, he is out of touch with Mississippi values. Okay,
so you had Ron Paul endorse you. And Cochran's people are out there saying that you shouldn't be aligning yourself with Ron Paul and the word they use, peaceniks.
Well,
I mean,
just pure desperation at this point. Rick Santorum has also endorsed. Sarah Palin has endorsed. Countless others have endorsed. Senator Cochran is a big government liberal. And anybody who seems to have a conservative bone in their body, he deems them as dangerous or as an extremist. But there's nothing dangerous about balancing a budget. There's nothing extreme about adherence to our constitutional principles, and there's nothing wrong with values. Senator Cochran has pushed the panic button, and that's what you're seeing here in Mississippi right now, just pure desperation.
So let me talk to you a little bit about the border.
Sure.
What is happening on our border, and what are you going to do about it?
Well, lawlessness always invites more lawlessness. It always invites more law-breaking. We have to be a nation of laws, and we have to enforce the laws, and we have to close the border, period. Senator Cochran has voted twice against a border fence. He's voted once for amnesty. The thing is, Glenn, every time we refuse to enforce the law, and then on top of that refusal, have conversations about amnesty, we encourage lawbreaking. And that's bad policy for this government because, naturally, illegal immigration is wrong. It hurts Americans. But secondly, we lose respect with the law. And that makes us lose faith even more with our government. So we have to do the things that are right by our Constitution and by our statutory law. And thus far, the politicians haven't had the guts or the will to do that.
Last week, I came out and I said that I was wrong about the war in Iraq. And what I meant by that was I really believed that the Iraqi people were just like us and that they would stand up and they would fight for the opportunity of freedom. Well, they never did. Some of them did, but not enough. And when ISIS started rolling into town, they all just abandoned their posts. Well, you can't give somebody freedom if they don't want it. And we tried to nation build, and it was just wrong, and it's cost us, blood and treasure, and we got to get out of the Middle East, I believe. It's time to stop intervening anywhere around the world. People have got to take care of themselves because we can't afford to do it, and quite honestly, it's caused us more problems than good, I believe. Where do you stand on a viewpoint like that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We cannot continue to be the world's police force. It's not in our charter mission. It's not in our Constitution. We have men and women of the military we value greatly. They are our greatest resources, our blood. And to send them, for example, into a Syrian civil war, that's outrageous. That's ridiculous. We have no intention or no justification to intervene throughout civil wars in this world. We have to take care of our own. We have to take care of Americans. And that begins by making sure that we don't intervene in every imaginable conflict. So I love the military. I come from a military family. But I've seen too many of my friends go off and serve and come back and question what it was they were doing. They love their country, and I love this country. But we cannot intervene in every imaginable conflict in the world. We cannot continue.
Okay, well, they'll say the hawks on both sides will say, and it's coming. It may not come this summer, but it is coming. If you don't stop ISIS now, they're going to get stronger and stronger, and they will come to our shores. That'll be the first one. And the second is, we'll all care when oil is $200 a barrel, which if the region is in civil war, we'll be lucky if it's $200 a barrel.
Well, maybe not. If we would open up our reserves here and begin to actually produce again and drill again and to actually get the federal government out of regulating or hyper-regulating these oil companies out of business, there's ample energy supplies here. And we just have to be able to get it without tons and tons of government regulations and taxes. There's a way to get that done and become more self-sufficient if the politicians just have the guts to do that.
So really, we've only got about 10 seconds here. You will not send troops into the Middle East. You're against that.
It would have to be the most extraordinary circumstance in the world. I can't say 100% no, but my goodness, under these circumstances,
I understand
absolutely not.
Okay. His name is Chris McDaniel, McDaniel2014.com if you'd like to learn more or help the campaign. McDaniel 2014. The primary against Thad Cochran is tomorrow. Throw a liberal Democrat out or Republican out and put Chris McDaniel in. Mississippi tomorrow.